Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. My dear brothers and sisters and viewers of IQRA TV, welcome back. Before we went for the break, we were having this very interesting discussion around this whole issue of what's being now taught in schools around relationship and sex education, which is challenging many parents, not just from the Muslim community, but from other faiths and people of no faith as well. We were just getting into this very interesting discussion about how we as Muslims, and particularly those who are responsible for nurturing our young children, how they respond to that. And this is an issue that, as I say, touches every parent. And I'm sure there are many parents out there who want to know some answers around this issue and how they should respond to that. So if you have any questions, any issues, any suggestions, have you been confronted by this issue in your, with your child? Have they been doing this in school? How have they responded? Then by all means, please ring us and share with us your thoughts and your ideas and what you think we should be doing. So again, next week, inshallah, I've got a very eminent lawyer coming in, a Muslim lawyer, who's done a lot of work around this issue and other issues as well. And we will be sharing some of that discussion with him. So please, if you can't do it today, then by all means, inshallah, next week you will have another chance. Coming back to Maulana Ibrahim, my guest, who, as I said before, is no stranger to IQRA TV, and most of the viewers know him very well, probably know him much better than they know me, because he does more programs than I do, so he is in your homes more often than I am. But Maulana Sahib, we were talking about how you as an imam, as a teacher, and your fellow colleagues, have you had anybody come up to you, any young person come up to you and ask you questions around gay, sexual, lesbian, transgender relationships? Because we know that we have people in our community who are of that that lifestyle, and they want to live that lifestyle. And inshallah, one day I would like to invite people of who believe that relationship is normal for them to come and talk and discuss that with me as well. And I know we have a gay, lesbian, transgender, LGBT group of Muslims, and I've been trying to get hold of them to see, come and talk to me, come talk to our viewers, and share with us why you see what your beliefs is equally as valid as everybody else's. And inshallah, one day we'll do it. But have you had anybody come to you in your capacity as an imam and say, I personally am of this nature and this is my views, and what guidance can you give me?
Well, regarding LGBT, that last one, transgender issue, has been a common.
Right.
So personally, yes, within one-to-one talk, we've had discussions on this idea.
Right.
We've had some individuals willing to go through a transgender process.
Right.
And outside Bradford as well, I am aware of individuals with, and that was not directly but through parents.
Right.
And that my child was a girl, now is changing to a boy, transgender to a boy, and vice versa. So yes, those questions have been raised by parents and by individuals. And sometimes in some gatherings we've had where we have to explain to them. Right. And obviously that leads into a debate. So just to try to bring different ideas towards them in order to give them a support. So your question...
forgive me, I have no idea around this issue,
yes,
around transgender issue. I've never thought about it, never discussed it. I have friends who have, have transed in some form or another, and I used to do some training with people who have transed as well, and wonderful people. What is Islam's view on that transition, and changing from one sex to other sex then?
Well, the Quran says, فَلَا يُغَيِّرُنَّ خَلْقَ اللَّهِ. What Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has created is to change that in any form is an act of an evil.
Right.
That's what the Quran says.
So it's frowned upon.
Yes.
Right.
So, and so any change, whether it's a physical appearance or that leads to the change of physical appearance, it comes under فَلَا يُغَيِّرُنَّ خَلْقَ اللَّهِ.
Right.
Okay, that is the first promise that evil explained to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accepted his dua in other ways. So
can you explain that?
Okay,
the translation
so
of that?
when the shaitan was told to prostrate in front of Adam, and he denied the order of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and then he was given the order, shaitan ar-rajim, you are amongst the deprived individuals.
Right.
At that time, shaitan made dua, supplication to Allah. Give me ability of this. I will come on the left hand side, right hand side. I'm going to make them ungrateful. And amongst them, he said, وَلَا آمُرَنَّهُمْ, I will give them the order, فَلَا يُغَيِّرُنَّ خَلْقَ اللَّهِ, they will change the Allah's creation.
Right.
So what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has created, I will give him orders, I will give him ideas, and based on those ideas and those skills, they will do modification in the creation of Allah.
Right.
So down here, when it comes to transgender or these issues, the idea behind that is, it's not only changing the physical appearance, it's an idea that leads to the change, internal changes that leads to the external changes. It comes under the law. فَلَا يُغَيِّرُنَّ خَلْقَ اللَّهِ. When we go through that change,
so how do we accommodate people, let's say from a female to a male, right? And the person believes in Allah, believes in Islam, and wants to come into the masjid and wants to pray and practice. How do you react to them? How do you respond to them?
Well, down here, the Quran words are clear.
Right.
There are rules for the men and there are rules for the women. إِنَّا خَلَقْنَاكُم مِّن ذَكَرٍ وَأُنثَى. Rajul and untha. We call them qaziyya haqiqiyya. There is a contradiction with them. Rajul is not a untha is not a rajul. They're two different characters.
So the male is a male and a female,
Male
is
is
a
a
female.
male, female.
That's how you, yeah, okay.
That's how it is. There are various rulings for the rajul and various rulings for the mu'annath. So for example, if a mu'annath, a feminist, and it's called in the rajul, and it comes and stands in the first saf, unfortunately, the namaz and the sufuf and all that, the person next to him, his namaz is not going to be counted.
Right.
Simple as that. So there are rulings. It's not
as strict as that.
It's very strict. And also the hijab issues, parda issues. Even, I'm just saying for example, we've got part of our bodies which are satar. So if we take part of a body from here, we use somewhere else, still we're using the part that needs to be hidden, and we're replacing it. So until it doesn't modify, it doesn't change, still it holds the value of the satar. So there are strict rules for rajul and untha. Now, those people who go to transgender, why do they go to? It's a psychological effect. They cannot recognize what the difference between rajul is and
I mean, that is one argument.
One argument.
But
Yes.
the counter argument would be,
Yes.
that the people genuinely feel that they
feeling.
are in the wrong body.
They're in the wrong body.
And
Well,
this is akin to this whole issue around how was the world created?
Yes.
And whether humans came first or animals came, monkeys came first.
Yes.
This evolutionary theory as well. So it's similar to that, isn't it?
Allahul mutarajjilat.
Right.
Yes, those women who act as a men, they are cursed by Allah with the words of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And similar to this, those men who imitate as women are cursed by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in the words of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So
okay, I accept that. Yeah.
strategy.
No, I accept that. I accept that. Okay, and as I said right at the beginning of the program,
that's our belief.
Yeah,
that's our aqidah.
The people who have a faith and believe in that, they believe in that, and I accept that. But obviously, we're living in a very different climate. Right? We're living in not just in this country, but in other parts of the world as well. There are people who fundamentally believe that they are of a different lifestyle, and they're very passionate about it, and that is their fundamental belief, and they want to live that lifestyle regardless of what you and I may say. Okay, and in some cases they even see themselves as Muslims, as practicing Muslims. So for people like that, how accommodating do you think we can Or
Well,
can we be?
We have.
I know you've just said
yes, we've
that
got.
they can't.
When we go to the fiqh,
right.
we've got signs. Okay, we have an issue of khuntha. When we come to the issue of distributing the inheritance,
Right.
because inheritance depends on a man and a woman concept. Things do change if it's a woman, and things do change if it's a man.
Right.
So we have an issue over there, khuntha.
Well, I'm sure there'll be the other people who
Yes.
say, well,
Yes.
that is also unequal, but
Yes,
there are answers to
yes.
that.
But what I'm saying is, we've got a strategy and a rigid framework for the society, for the creation of humans.
Right.
Now, some people do suggest that we want to be either side. The body does not belong to me. Okay, so just by going through a biological change and changing the characteristics and the appearances behind it, the question is, are they going to be considered as a man or a woman, where they have moved into the transgendered?
It's the personal choice, isn't it?
It's a personal choice.
They decide what they want to be.
The rulings are not going to change because
Right.
of the physical appearance.
So they have to accept that whatever they individually may decide.
Yes.
Right,
So now the question, whether they are Muslim or not,
Yeah.
it depends. If a person's mental capability is totally affected, then they are majnoon. They are junoon.
But
That's-
I mean, obviously,
Yes.
that
But on the
leads-
other hand, if they got the qualities of a feminine, but they are acting as a man, and still they say, "Well, I'm a man," and then
Yeah,
all
but I
the
mean,
signs.
Let me
then
just
is-
let me go one step further, where you said whether they have the mental capacity, right? That suggests that people who do this have got no mental capacity. But let me be devil's advocate. There are many, many, many people who are incredibly intellectual and very, very clever, highly regarded professionals who have this lifestyle, in very serious positions of power. That shows that they're not, mental capacity is there.
Well, because over there, the mental capacity. Now, I'm not saying it's a general concept that anyone who is involved in the transgender doesn't have a mental capacity. I'm saying there are other reasons. One of the reasons can be this. But look, just like you said, if someone is a professional and them.
I've got some very good friends
yes, and
who are in very senior
sometimes
positions.
It's not the mental, they've got the mental capacity, but they've got that feeling.
Yeah, they feel that they're either gay or lesbian.
And that feeling
Yeah.
overrides the understanding of the difference.
And as human beings, they're fantastic people.
Yes, they're fantastic
There's
people.
amazing.
So over there,
yeah.
there isn't a mental capacity. It's the personal choice.
Exactly.
So it's not all. But what I'm saying, I mean, I've had a discussion with some of the transgenders, and I certainly realized that there was an issue of mental capacity.
Or in some cases, there's no
but
doubt about
it's
it.
not. I can't generalize.
There may be,
this.
yeah.
But as a Muslim view, where the parents were struggling,
So
with their
let's
child,
come back to this issue. The issue at the moment is young children are being taught in schools,
yes.
right? This particular area, subject area.
So this is where we argue:
Right.
are they taught, or they are given idea that you can be in this form?
Right.
So is it education or not? This is the argument. This is the counter argument. We say it's not an education. It's a promoting mean.
Well, their argument would be all we are doing is bringing to the attention of young people
Yes.
the different lifestyles that exist in society.
Yes, but
that's what they're saying.
That's what they say. But the
And
counter argument is, at this age, can they understand? Yeah, there are some people who disagree with that.
Right.
At that time, according to the Piaget's understanding of the human, it's not on the level that can understand.
So you saying a 5 or 6 or 7-year-old will not understand?
Well, the different ideas. They may recognize this is the way, but there's another idea that they have to recognize.
Right.
That isn't that, where we have complex issues, and to understand them, there's a certain age.
But this is the argument they're making, that obviously the normal concept of a relationship is between a man and a woman. That's the majority view. But as it is now, there are also other relationships.
Now, that's what we're saying down here. Just to say that we want to inform the people and that there are these type of families and these type of relationships. This suggests it's not a norm. How we started to teach children, this is the parents' way. We didn't have it in a nursery at all. We didn't have an education system. This is your mom and a dad. This type of a family. So the issue and the discourse of the family, when it's introduced, this suggests that these type of families are peculiar, and we want to inform the others. People live with a normal way of life. So when they come to the nursery, when they come to the age of 5, they've never ever been taught this. It's never been part of a curriculum.
Yeah, and that is the counter argument that the people are making, that obviously because that is not being part of the curriculum, we have conditioned young people to think in one particular way.
But why is it that
society has different lifestyles as well?
Yes, what we're saying, when the mass society totally follows the traditional method, why do they have to be confused?
Right.
Where in the future life they will face, when they are onto the level that they can understand the complexity and they can understand them as well. Do we have to inform everything, whatever the complexity exists within the society, to the children?
That's the whole argument. That by the time they get to the stage where they understand, they may have become prejudiced against some of these lifestyles.
Well, the prejudice does exist.
And that is what they're trying to, they're trying to counter. That, if you teach young people from a very early age that this is one lifestyle, and you don't need to be prejudiced against those people. That is my understanding. Is the philosophy behind it.
That is what they say. So, on the other hand, that
so as an imam,
yes,
right? Obviously you're a mudarris. You teach in children as well. I don't know what age group you teach, but obviously this is something that every parent is currently challenged about, right? About how do you because most of our parents, most of our parents never talk about relationships, with their children. It's a taboo subject. There's no doubt about it. And I'm sure more young people now, and as they're growing older, they're telling their children about some of these relationships. Maybe. So how do you, as an imam, sort of talk to people, adults as well as young people, about this new issue, this subject, which is very challenging? And how do you make sure that people understand the complexity behind this issue and what they need to be doing? What do you think parents should be doing?
Well, the thing is, the whole society is complex. Any idea that exists within the society becomes complex. Look at the Brexit. It becomes a complex. It's just it's a political idea, but it becomes complex. Similarly, understanding about the concept of a man and a woman is complex. So there's nothing that is not complex. Right. Everything is complex within society.
Well, everything is a challenge. There's no doubt about it.
It's a challenge.
Everything is a challenge at this moment in time.
And that's why individuals are confused. Do I need to be a man? Do I need to be a woman? Do I need to do some changes within my lifestyle? Something which is not in my control. Now the question is, okay, if one individual is born in a certain way, and then the person feels, I do not need to be in this way, I'm in the wrong body. Are we saying that God made a mistake?
Or wants to form a relationship with somebody of the same sex, right, which is different. Transgender issues is different. What about somebody who wants to form a relationship, a partnership, and want to live together as husband and wife, or man and woman in a same-sex relationship?
Well, the thing is, like we said, it's a complex issue in those countries where it has been legalized as a family, because there are certain issues that have not been addressed.
Such as?
For example, adultery.
Right.
So, if there are same couples living together and they are involved with another relationship which is the same, is that considered as adultery or not? The law does not define that.
Right.
So, where in a traditional method, adultery is defined, it's a known fact. So the concept around wherever it's been legalized and it's a part of a statute law, still ideas are not clear.
Right.
So what we're saying,
if you look at it in that sense, there are many, many ex-British colonies, such as Kenya and Uganda and other places, where they still have on the statute book, including places like India until very recently, they followed the law that was set by the British government, when the Raj was still going strong, when gay and lesbian relationships were illegal. It's only only now in countries like India they've changed it. parts of Africa, in Kenya was an example last week, it still has on its statute book the British law still applying now that these relationships are illegal.
Illegal,
right?
Because they were based on the Bible, and there was a religious concept behind those statute, behind that statute law. So, and within the
I'm sorry, Maulana Sahib, we've been told that our time has come to an end, and as usual, as I say every week, we could go on and discuss this for another couple of hours maybe. I'm really sorry. I hope you found this discussion of some interest and some value. I know many parents are challenged by this. Next week, inshallah, we'll discuss this in more complex legal terms, because I have a lawyer with me, inshallah. Inshallah, I'll see you then. In the meantime, may Allah take care of you and bless you. Please remember me and Maulana Sahib in your du'as. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu.